welcome to Out of England. I have with me businessmen, entrepreneurs, experts like chartered accountants and professionals from different areas. And the reason we have a good mix is because we are discussing what are the advantages that Britain has when it comes to doing business, which India doesn't, and the vice versa. What are the advantages that India has which Britain doesn't? And you would be the person to start with because you are into renewable energy and India has a lot of sunlight which Britain doesn't.
Yes, and the potential over there in India is enormous, and particularly the region which I'm talking about, the southern part of India. It's you can say almost 360 days rather than 365. You can say 360 days.
Okay.
So when as an investor, when few of our investors, they wanted to get into this and benefit this, and we tried our level best to break through all the bureaucracy and the red tapeism. But unfortunately, I don't want to say the name of a state, but in one state, still we cannot proceed any further even after 4 years.
Despite the opportunities being there.
Opportunities lying over there, and as a small term or a small term investor, we cannot break through it. The doors are exclusively and especially open only for the mega projects and
the ones with big bucks.
Big bucks, of course, yes. And so obviously collective investors like us, they are not just preferring South India and especially India, but even when they go, they are not looking into South India.
So you have answered both ways. You're saying in this sector, particularly of renewable energy, the natural resources are better in India, which is not perhaps there in Britain, but the bureaucracy, the kind of liaison, that the challenges that the governments across states pose, across political parties, let's be clear, pose, are very, very different to deal with, perhaps easier in Britain to do business. What are the advantages in either places?
Advantages, Britain has everything is structured, everything is systematic. You know what you're going to ask and you know what's going to be delivered. Everything is transparent. Advantages of India, flexible. You can do business at 10 o'clock at night. You can do business on weekends. And we don't have a very stern culture. So that's the flexibility advantage, which is very essential when it comes to business. Right, for all good reasons though. Right, so that is the thing. Disadvantage in India, I mean, once again, nothing is structured. No one knows the process. Every official has his own rules. Every way of interpretation. Nothing is, not even a checklist is available even in a bank.
Sure.
So that's the point.
Lack of clarity.
Clarity in everything.
India's hope of becoming smart could be achieved in trying to emulate the system of the UK government, which is of...
it is vice versa, in the sense, see, UK government is extremely
What
good
can
with
UK
the
learn?
hardware technologies. See, BAE systems and their project management is absolutely world class.
What can UK learn from the Indian style of doing business?
What could UK, actually UK could learn more from our ethics. Business, I mean, I'm not saying that they're not ethical. Basically, what I wanted to say is, you know, when we commit to deliver something, even if in case it is beyond 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, we will make sure that we work through to deliver what we want to deliver. Whereas here, okay, from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock they work, and after that, you know, okay, so we can do it tomorrow. But then that...
Time for a drink. But that's what Indian professionals are known, right, here, because we are very hardworking, whatever it takes, and we could stretch our day, and the day is never 9 to 5. Yes, for an Indian professional, it's never 9 to 5. What is the solution that Britain has to offer to India?
I think in Britain, we have more legal regulations. So if you, I mean, I'm in a pharmaceutical industry, where the regulation is very, very important, and we really treat the compliance at the most.
I guess we have it, but they're never followed or respected.
So that's what I think in India. That
should change.
So that should really change, yeah.
Very important lesson to be learned from the style of doing business in Britain. Yes, you are a chartered accountant. Yes.
Yeah, my name is Shankar Devashetty. I'm running accountancy practice, chartered accountancy practice in London and India as well, in Hyderabad.
Okay.
So we're running accountancy practice in both countries. So we are helping companies to establish in UK companies establish in India, Indian companies establish in UK. So the many advantages running a business in UK is there's a lot of help available in terms of finance, in terms of exporting, importing and all this stuff. There's a lot of help in terms of regulation. Regulation is so easy in UK.
Yes.
When it comes to India, there's a lot of business available in terms of, it's a growing market. So there is a lot of opportunities available there to establish in India. The main disadvantage in India is there is no help in terms of finance, in terms of growth.
You mean expert?
Expertise is not there.
It's lacking.
Okay. So that is the main disadvantage in India.
Okay.
But
and the advantage that India has, which Britain could take a lesson from? Has there been a time, I'm just curious, because they're CEOs, they're founders of company, they have offices in India, they've done business in India, they do business here. I'm just wondering whether there was a time when you were in India on a regular working day and you thought, I wish this was there in Britain. When I work in Britain, I wish this was there. Apart from all the, the help and, somebody to get you your lunch, what would that be?
So the help in India.
Oops, the fact that you have to think so much is an indication.
Standardization is too, yeah.
Standardization, yeah. Okay. Yes, lady.
I would say it's the dedication and the sincerity and the morals and values and religious elements that we have to do our best, at whatever we do. And I think that's where, and they're very humble in how they deliver their...
and when they say they deliver, they deliver.
Yeah, they do. They're very efficient, and they don't only say it, but they actually do it,
sure.
And then they say we've done it.
Right. Thanks very much indeed. It's very difficult to say which is better because there are the advantages, the disadvantages. When it comes to system regulations, perhaps India lacks, but then like many have put a sentiment across, what you get from Indian employees and professionals in terms of ethics, deliverance, the commitment, and just the sheer hard work is perhaps something which here is very difficult to find. When it comes to investments in India, there are a lot of question marks in the minds of several people living here, especially because of the distance and one cannot really keep traveling. So it would be fantastic if more chief ministers across states in India continue the habit of paperless transactions, making it all online. But then the big complaint that I've been hearing from people is that a beeline by politicians is made to London. Big announcements are made, including by Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of the country, but then the follow-up is very little. So with me are people who will hopefully not complain because we've been hearing complaints over the years. But what are the solutions that you would like to suggest? I'll start with you.
Yeah, the solution is, I think that, the politicians as well as the bureaucrats who are coming here to promote the investment opportunities in India should follow it up very effectively by setting up of some kind of a representative office in London, because London is the international financial center. So this is where all the activities, investment activities are happening.
You're hoping to invest in India very soon. With sector, what are your thoughts? If you were apprehensive about investing in India, what areas would you want more improvement on? Because clearly you're very impressed with the kind of opportunities that India has to offer.
Well, first of all, the Minister has to be congratulated for his swift response. And obviously, the more information we have through the coordinated efforts of, let's say, a single office in London, it would have been quite helpful. Okay. The sort of sector that we quite interested is executive education. That's one thing that obviously trying to capitalize on the human capital that the region has could add a lot of value for them as well as us, as well as investors.
Lovely. For those who want to invest in India, and if you want to invest in India, what is the change you want to see as an NRI?
Okay, so they definitely need the savvy to interact with financial services, investment banks and funds, which I think the bureaucrats lack. So there is a lot of interest shown by the funds, but when it comes to executing and liaising and on the ground implementation, they grope for next steps. So and when it comes to bureaucracy, it takes a long time, which is something beyond the habit of very efficient markets like London.
Have you invested before in India, sir, and which sector?
No, we have not invested, but we are looking at investment opportunities, especially in the power generation and power transmission sector.
And India has not had a great track record when it comes to power in the last few years, but hopefully the things are getting better.
Yeah, of course, we see a lot of, improvements in the power sector. I think the power ministry at the center is doing a wonderful job, and they are coming out with innovative solutions to set right, the utility companies, the state level utilities, which is a good thing.
Thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully these solutions reach the persons who matter and who take the calls there, and to the persons where the buck stops. Thanks very much for joining us. Write your feedback to ooe@ndtv.com.